Welcome into Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey, South Georgia. Let's talk sports. Today, our guest is a man who needs no introduction, but I get paid to do these, so here you go. When you're picking an accolade to describe Colquitt County head coach Rush Propst, there are no wrong answers. There's Rush Propst, the cancer survivor. Propst, the 7-time state champion head football coach. Propst, the mentor, and even Propst, the former basketball player. I'd personally love to see that, but for tonight, he's Propst, the special guest on Sports Talk, and we'll break down his career right after this. Welcome into the show, Coach Propst. You're in your 10th season now here at Colquitt County as the head coach, but you've had a plethora of experience, 29 as head coach, 37 in general in the realm of coaching. How has this journey been now that you're at the stage you're at right now?
Well, it goes by quicker than you think. I mean, you sit there and you blink. It's just like being here 10 years. It's the furthest. I guess I was at Hoover for 9 and here 10, and it seems like it was just other day that I was coming down this bypass heading my way to Colquitt County, and it just flies by.
Right, of course. You didn't start here at Colquitt County or even at Hoover. Let's take a look at your coaching resume and where you really started your head coaching tenure at least, and that was at Asheville, your alma mater. You played football there. You came back and ended up being an assistant, becoming head coach there. Spent 4 years there, had a 12-2 season in '92. Then Eufaula, you went ahead over there for 3 years, and in '96, a 10-2 season. Alba and Alma Bryant, the same stop pretty much as the schools combined, and a really big season there in 1998, 12-1. What did you pick up in your early stops when you became a head coach and was the leader of a program?
Well, not to correct you, but Asheville was not my alma mater. I actually grew up across the river. In a little town called Ohatchee.
Yeah.
Small 1A school. That's actually where I played high school football and basketball and ran track. We didn't even have a baseball team. We were so small. There were only 61 in my graduating class. I came to Asheville for 2 reasons. One, it was back. I'd been in Atlanta at Cherokee High School in Canton, Georgia. My head football coach that had gotten out of coaching got back into coaching, and the principal actually at Asheville was one of my assistant coaches when I was in high school. Yeah. And really those 2 men, Ken Logan and Reagan Clark, were such inspirational people, sort of the reason I'm in this game that I coach today. And I wanted to come home, or close to home. It was actually about 17 or 18 miles, but if you'd on the water from the river, it was about a mile across there to the other side. I actually still have a river lot at both places, Ohatchee and Asheville. Yeah. But it was just coming back home, it drew me. Another thing that drew me to Asheville outside of wanting to be around my head coach again and Ken Logan, my principal, is that they had never won a playoff game. They had never had football success. The first year I was there as an assistant, we went 0-10 as an assistant. I was the defensive coordinator, and they didn't have a weight room. And so in the off-season program, every single day, myself and Bill Clark, who's now the head football coach at UAB, and in my opinion should be the coach of the year in a lot of conferences, because he's taking UAB, who have not had football for 2 years, and they're going to end up winning 8 or 9 games. In my pick, they're going to beat Florida this weekend. So I'm giving an early pick.
That's a bold take.
It is. And then John Gross, who's the head football coach at Jacksonville State. We worked together as an assistant, and every day that made me feel good is we had to set up that weight room on the stage in the gym every day, lift, and tear it down every single day, and it was tough. And so from there, the next year, our second year, we went 5-5 and actually lost on the last play of the game to the #1 team in the state, Sardis High School. And then obviously you've heard the story. Coach Clark's wife was killed in a car wreck. She was suffering from ovarian cancer. She died early January 3rd or 4th. And Coach Clark decided to get out of coaching. But I think he cared enough about me and Bill and John that he wanted to stay in it through spring ball. After spring ball, leading into the summer, I was awarded the head football job at Asheville, and I'll never forget the time that I spent there, and obviously I owe a lot to Reagan Clark.
Yeah, of course. And that was an incredible start to the journey, and then we all kind of seen it all documented, your next journey from there when you got to be the head coach over at Hoover. Had to do a whole slide of its own for this one because you spent 9 years there. I mean, 110-16 overall through those 9 seasons. That's an 87% winning percentage. But from 2000 to 2006, maybe one of the best runs in high school football history, 97-7, 7 appearances in the state title game, 7 straight, and 5 state titles. At one point in 2006, ranked #1 in America. Hoover, a huge stop. It was well documented, so we don't have to get too much into it, obviously. But I mean, what did you bring and what did you get from that stop there?
Well, I was in Mobile, and I loved Alma Bryant High School. And I tell you, it was a tough job to take. I mean, because Hoover was not Hoover. They had struggled 3-7, 3-7, 4-6. They were not anywhere a football power state of Alabama. Alma Bryant, as you can tell, we were 12-1, and actually probably I cost us that state title. I feel like in 1998 that we were the best team in the state. And what you don't show there is there were 9 shutouts out of 13 ball games. We shut the opponent out 9 times where we didn't give up a point. It wasn't until game 8 that we gave up a point, and that was on a double pass to Murphy High School in front of 21,000 at Ladd Stadium for the area championship in Alabama. But, you know, it came down to eventually I was sort of wanting to go back close to home. My wife right now it was living in that area, and just wanted to get back close to home. And you know, although Hatchie was only about an hour away, I just felt like that Hoover had the potential to be the best job, not only in Alabama, but in the country. Yeah. And so the resources were just unbelievable. We had a good football team coming back, believe it or not. Alma Bryant went 12-1 again the next year. Yeah. And and it was, I love living at Dauphin Island. I love living in Baylor Battery and in South Mobile. A lot to do. Had a lot of good friends there. But just I guess the pulling me back to that area and the resources that Hoover had, you never lack for money. You never lack for facilities. And I just feel like that program and that team, once you got it turned around, could challenge for a national championship, not only a state title.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of doing that, not only did you do that at Hoover, your next stop here in South Georgia at Colquitt County in 2008, you did a lot of challenging for state titles. But before you got here, and when you actually got here, you did find out that you had the throat cancer that you've been surviving with right now. And that's part of what I mentioned in the beginning of it. You're not only a head football coach and a mentor, but you are a cancer survivor. And what has that journey been like as you've been not only coaching up another state power in another state, but dealing with that battle?
Well, you know, really, to get the facts correct, I'd been here in 8 and 9, and in the fall of 10, I knew something was wrong. But we were in the midst of starting out 0-4 and struggling as a football team in 10. But then all of a sudden we turn it around and we go all the way to the state championship game and lose to Brookwood. But during that time, I was losing weight and I felt pretty good. But I was losing weight and my taste wasn't as good. And so I knew there was something wrong when you lose 30 pounds for no reason and you can't figure it out. So long and short, as I went to the doctor, they found the lump popped up. Obviously went to UAB and they found that it was full-blown stage 4 throat cancer. And man, when you sit there and a doctor walks in with your wife and you've got young children and says, hey, you got stage 4 throat cancer and this is gonna be a tough journey. But UAB was close to Hoover. I had some friends there. My assistant head football coach, Sean Sutton, who's with me now at Colquitt County, had a house there, and so I was able to live there, get treatment there, have surgery there. But it was a battle from halfway through January. I stayed away from school, took a leave of absence, didn't come back till early June. Was very weak that first year, had great assistant coaches. We named Kevin Giddens the interim head coach. He did a wonderful job. Sean Sutton was hired that year. Travis Pearson was hired that year. We changed the culture defensively and also in the weight room. Offensively, we could score points.
Yeah.
Because we set records in the state championship game of 10. It may never be broken. I mean, we had 650-plus yards, 38 first downs, but we still lost the game. Yeah. And so I knew we had to do some things defensively and to get stronger in the weight room. So as I was leaving, Travis and Sean was coming in, and then Kevin moved it over. I stayed gone for 6 months. When I got back, you know, they had a lot of things in place and had a cultural change defensively. We were stronger in the weight room. Mm-hmm. And then to be honest with you, that year in 11, we had great kids, and we made a strong run at winning a state title. And that's one that I have a hard time swallowing that one, because in 11 we lost to Grayson. Yeah. Up there. And a bunch of controversy that I felt like we were the best team in the state of Georgia in 11, and really felt like we should have won it that year.
Right, of course, and you would go on to win a couple more with Colquitt County. The 30-0 run is well documented, and we'll talk a lot more about that later on in the show. But we want to get to the break, because after the break we're going to talk trivia, and we're going to see what you got. You got a lot of knowledge. Obviously, you ran off a lot of numbers and corrected me on a couple things. We'll see if you got the knowledge when it comes to trivia right after the break.
You'll beat me on that.
Welcome back to the show. Well, we've learned a lot about Coach Propst so far, but we have even more to share with you.
That's right. We went to practice this week to see what he values most on the field.
This is a walk Coach Rush Propst has gotten used to, and it's one he's known he wanted to make ever since he attended high school in Northeast Alabama.
I want to give back like they did. I saw them giving back, and I saw them how competitive they were as people, and I sort of gravitated to that.
Growing up as Alabama football rose to dominance under Bear Bryant, and with a family made up of athletes, Propst jokes it was all somewhat destined.
We were Alabama people, and so you didn't really have much of a choice.
But now in Georgia, Propst has found a new home and a new family of teammates.
Man, Coach Propst, he's the best, bro. He's like a dad to me, though, not like everybody else, like no favoritism or nothing. But I hang with him like the most.
Pretty exciting, because you never know what you're gonna get. One day it'll be all out, all getting it, just getting it. And then some days you'll just be like, oh yeah, I enjoy this. I really like what's going on.
Regardless, Propst players say they've prepared them well. Now, in the second round of playoffs, quarterback Steven Krajewski says he's appreciative of that.
We go all out every day, all day, no days off. Like I said, he stresses preparation like no other coach has ever stressed before, and I'm grateful for it.
Propst says he, too, is grateful for all of the team's hard work and hopes to one day see his younger children suit up as Colquitt County Packers.
Very much want to coach them and be around for their term, and so who knows? I may be right here for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years and retire right here in this town.
A town he says has really grown on him.
Because I really love being here. I do. I like Moultrie, Georgia, and I like Colquitt County. I love Southwest Georgia football. There's just a passion here. It's one of the reasons I came here.
One of the reasons he came, and a big reason why he decided to stay.
And you heard a little bit about Coach's family already, but we have some more to share. He has 7 kids ranging from 10 years old to 26. His oldest, Jacob, is about to get married, and his youngest, John David, is in 5th grade. Propst says they all enjoy spending time together, but it might be okay if their Thanksgiving plans are messed up a little bit by the state playoffs this year.
That'll be a blessing, huh?
Yeah, definitely. All right, that brings us that brings us to the trivia portion of our show. We like to call it Theo versus everyone, because that's exactly what happens. Theo takes on all of our coaches in some trivia. Oh, no. So are you ready, Coach?
Best I can do.
All right, we'll see what happens.
And I'll let you know, Zach Graves beat me, so
he's smarter than I am.
All right, the way it works is I'll ask you guys some questions. You just buzz in to answer, and if you get it right, you get a ball, and the person with the most at the end wins.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll go right into it. In these first questions, you guys will have 2 choices. You have to pick one of them. All right, what company has the naming rights for the Sugar Bowl this year? PlayStation or Allstate?
Allstate.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
He was quick on that, too.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I see how this is going.
All right, we'll go into the next one here. In what year did the Houston Texans join the NFL? 2002 or 1999?
2002.
Yep. Man.
He will. Okay, you know what? All right, that's cool. It's cool because if you're gonna ring in early,
You're from Houston.
I knew the answer.
I thought you had an advantage there.
You're right. You're right. I got it. Next one is mine
All right.
for sure.
In what decade was the first Super Bowl held? Was it the 60s or the 50s?
It's the 60s.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
1967.
Come on, man. I was back. I was
I'll let
there.
you have that one.
All right, it's still close. All right, these ones you guys will have to come up with the answers on your own.
Okay.
I won't give you two choices. Who is the all-time career rushing leader of the NFL?
Jim Brown.
No.
Emmitt Smith?
Yes.
Let's get it. Come on.
All right, it's tied up now. It's getting closer.
It's about to
I
get
like
heated.
that. All right, in the last 10 years, how many losing seasons have the Georgia Bulldogs football team had?
Last 10 years?
Yeah.
Enough.
Losing season?
No.
None.
No.
One?
Losing season?
They did. Yeah, they had one losing season in 2010.
What was the record?
It was losing.
They don't
It
want to
was
bring
losing
it.
both in the conference and overall.
Okay.
So.
Do I get a point for that? 'Cause
No, you didn't. I said it before.
Okay, you know what? All right, go. I'm not gonna argue.
I don't remember. Go ahead.
All right, we'll keep rolling on here. What company makes the official ball for the GHSA?
Wilson.
Yes,
No,
sir.
but no, he coaches in the GHSA.
You covered the GHSA. I think
Okay.
you all have advantages there.
It's cool. It's cool.
All right, that brings us to our halfway point of the game. Coach is up by a ball here on Theo, but
Okay.
there's still a couple questions left, so we'll see what happens after the break. All right, welcome back. We're playing Theo versus everyone. We got Coach Propst here, and we've also got a pretty close game still. So we'll see what happens. We got 3 questions left. All right, we'll get right into it. Like I said, this one might be a little easy, but what percentage of Region 1 7A teams that made the playoffs advanced to round 2?
100%.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
100%.
Let's do it.
All right, now it's tied. I like this. It's even more exciting.
I'll let you have that.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to increase the excitement.
Because do you know the total score of Region 1 7A versus the other region? Do you know what that was?
What was it?
221 to 3.
Oh,
wow.
the points. Oh, that makes sense though.
Well, you stole my next question.
Yeah.
That was not my next question. But, all right, we'll keep going on here. Which current NFL running back holds more than 10 records at Georgia Southern?
Oh, Jerick McKinnon?
Dear McKinnon, that would be
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
I'll go ahead, and we got a limited time. This said Adrian Peterson.
Georgia. Okay. You said Georgia Southern?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never got
Adrian Peterson went to Oklahoma.
No, it's a different Adrian Peterson.
Oh, the other Adrian. Oh, I'm tripping. Okay, keep going.
Other
Keep going. I'm a
Adrian
fool.
Peterson.
Yes.
All right. Some look-alike
Yeah,
names
that's
there.
right, that's
All right,
right.
we'll keep going. What was the first wild card? And this is the last question here. This is worth 2 points.
Okay.
But it doesn't really matter since you guys are tied. What was the first wild card NFL team to win the Super Bowl?
New Orleans Saints.
No.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, it was the 1980 Oakland Raiders.
Oh, we
So
both.
this is the first time we've ended on a tie.
Oh man, I don't even know what did we just.
I kind of like this.
I don't like it. I don't like it. We're gonna have Coach Propst right after the break. We ended in a tie. This is the YMCA, I guess, and we'll talk more about those Packers.
Everyone gets to participate.
Welcome back to the show where apparently ties are a thing. I didn't know that. We got Coach Rush Propst from Colquitt County, and we got very little time, but I wanted to talk about you as a mentor. You've mentored plenty of assistant coaches as well as student athletes into scholarships. Can you speak about that part of your job?
You know, we're very proud to obviously have coaches as a mantra showing as Zach Rage and Sean Calhoun. I'm just talking about people in the state of Georgia. Robert Kraft up at North Forsyth. So those are 3 guys that I think that are people that have worked for me that are now head football coaches, obviously in the state of Georgia. Now there's several of them in the state of Alabama. Some were at practice today. And so that to me is, you know, Lord, you can tell I've been here 10 years because I look a lot younger. But it's special to have so many coaches that are now high school coaches. And hopefully you gave them a little bit. Some things. They probably learned what not to do as much as it was to do working for me, but I'm awfully proud of all of them. Every single one of them that are head football coaches at their respected schools.
Right, and then worth mentioning, obviously, you sent a lot of student athletes off. We don't have time to talk about it, but we'll be at your National Signing Day, as well as we'll be following the Packers throughout the playoffs. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach Propst. Good luck with the rest of the playoffs, and we'll be right there on the sidelines watching.
Thank you, man.